Hi there. Okay, so lesson 4, how to make a single blocked colour granny square. This is like a sort of a more modern version of the traditional granny square, which is quite fancy. There are loads of different types you can do, but they're kind of like this. These are the sort of typically old-fashioned granny square that people make blankets out of, but a sort of more modern blocky version of that is what they call a solid granny square. So it's all one colour and it hasn't got all the lacy bits in between. Now then, when you're making a granny square, rather than work across the bottom and up like you have been doing with a single and double crochet, you're working from the middle, from a hole in the middle, and you're increasing the amount of stitches. As you can see, these are double crochet stitches forming a square. So you've got 3, a corner, then 3, a corner, and then 3. On the next row up as you go round, you will add 2 in that corner, 2 in that corner, so you've increased it by 4 stitches, so it goes up to 7 along. Then again, you'll increase again on the corners here, 2 in that corner, 2 in that corner, so you've gone up to 11, because 7 plus 4 is 11, and if you increase it to an even larger square, you'll go up to 15 stitches, 2 on either corner. So each time you're increasing from 3, 2 in either corner, so that's 4, so it's 3, 7, 11, and then 15 if you want to make a much bigger square. Okay, we'll start. I've got my size 5mm hook and my chunky yarn, and you start. Oh, it's got a bit nasty this now. I'll just chop that bit of wool off because it's all horrid at the beginning. Don't like that. Right, so you start by making a chain of 4. Move that out of the way. So there's your slip knot. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Count those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's your circle that you're working into. You now want to start on the first 3, there's the circle, and you want to start on your first 3 stitches, sorry. Now the first stitch isn't actually a stitch. Have I got this right? Yes, it's actually a chain. It's different, but you need to chain up to give yourself some height to then do the stitches next to it. So for this you need to get it to the right height, you need to chain 3. So you've done your circle, now you need to chain 1, 2, 3. Then working back into the circle, you need to make 2 double crochet. Remember, you wrap the wool around, push it through the circle, grab the yarn, wrap the wool around, pull through 2, wrap the wool around, pull through 2. So now you've got the equivalent of 2 stitches. The first is a chain, the second is a stitch. So again, let's do that. Wrap the wool around, pull it through the hole, grab the yarn, wrap the wool around, pull through 2, wrap the wool around, pull through 2. Right. As you can see, this straggly bit, you can just ignore it for now, but I try to sort of work over it so that it sort of hides itself and then it doesn't unravel and you don't have to bother weaving it in at the end. Now that's your first part of your square. It's a mini square. And so now you want to make a corner of your square. So to make a corner, we chain 2. 1, 2. Now you're going to make 3 more double crochets for the other side of the square. You don't need to do a chain this time, you can go straight in. There's your first double crochet. The second one, wrap the wool around, put it through the hole, pull it through, wrap the wool around, pull through 2, wrap the wool around, pull through 2. Your last one, wrap the wool around, put it through the hole, pull through, wrap the wool around, pull through 2, wrap the wool around, pull through 2. So now you've done 2 sides of your square with a corner bit. Now you want to do another corner. Chain 2, 1, 2. Now 3 more double crochets. Wrap the wool around, grab the yarn, wrap the wool around, pull through 2, wrap the wool around, pull through 2. A third one, a second one, sorry. So that's your second double crochet. And then your third double crochet. Then you've come to another corner. So chain 2 at the corner. And then your last run on the little mini square you're doing. So there's your first double crochet, second double crochet, third double crochet. Now you want to make another corner, but join it to here. So this time we only want to chain 1 because we're going to slip stitch it into that third chain. 1, 2, into there. Now to slip stitch, to join them together, you just put your hook through. I try and get it through, remember we talked about those bumps on the back? Well, I try to get it through the front chain and the bump on the back. Like that. Grab the yarn, pull it through and pull it through again. And there you've got your first mini square with 4 corners. Now you want to increase that to make it bigger. So you need 2 in this corner and 2 in that corner, then 3 in the middle. So the way to do that, again, you have to build up. So make a chain of 3. That's your first one in the corner. You want to put a second one in this corner. So wrap the wool around, pull it through the corner, pull through 2, pull through 2. Right, now we're going to work in the stitches on the top. Now the first thing that you work into, these are easy, these stitches. This one's easy, you can see it's a proper V. But this V is all a bit broken up, it's sort of collapsed a bit, so that you've got to be careful when you work into this one. And this one is a gammy stitch because of what you've done here. So there's just a little hole there. Can you see that little hole to work into? Right, so wrap the wool around, push it into that little hole. It doesn't really matter where it goes as long as it goes in. Pull the wool through, wrap the wool round, pull through 2, wrap the wool round, pull through 2. So now you've got 3 stitches. Now you've got to work through into the next stitch, which is this bit of a gammy V that isn't quite closed. But this is just because it's at the beginning. It's a lot easier as you go round. So wrap the wool around, push it through that V that's not a proper V, and under both stitches like that. Pull the wool through, wrap it round, pull through 2, pull through 2. Now this next one is easy because that's a proper V. So wrap the wool around, pull through the V, pull through. This is just your normal double crochet that you learned in lesson 3. So how many have we got now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 And we know we've got to have 7 on this next row because we've got to have 4 more than what's on the first one. So if you've got to have 2 in the corner, you must know if you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you must have reached a corner. Because in the corner, we work into the corner, we don't work into this stitch. So as you can see, don't go into this V because you're now at a corner. So we're going to go 2 in the corner, right in there, not into the stitch. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So that's your first run of stitches, and you've got 7. So now you want to do another corner, so that's 2 chains. Now we're on the other side, so again we've got to put 2 more in this corner, same one because it's working along this side now. So again, into the corner, and then another one, and now you're going to work along the chains. So keep this pushed to one side so you can see where the first stitch is, because you don't want to work in this one over here. You don't want to miss that out and go into that one. You want to work in the one that's just slightly over to the right of the post. It's annoying because the chain belonging to that post is slightly over from the post. It's not right in the middle of it, but you can see it. So that's into there. There's your first double crochet. There's your second one. These are working across the top of the chains, and you can see these are much easier than the first lot of stitches you did because you didn't have that funny gammy corner at the beginning. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that must mean we have to go into a corner now because we've got to do 2 in the corner because we want 7. So that's 1 in the corner, 2 in the corner. Then we want to chain 2 to make another corner. 1, 2, working along the top of here and back into the corner. There's 1, there's 2, that's 2 in the corner. Now we want to work across these stitches, so there's your first stitch there. So working across into the stitch now. 1, 2, I'm going to use my one. 3. So I've worked across those 3 stitches, even though it looks like it's slightly over, but we know we've done 1, 2, 3, 5. We know we want 7, so that must be 2 in the corner. So 1 in the corner, 2 in the corner. We want to make another corner, so chain 2. And then back into the last run, 2 in the corner here. Then across the 3 stitches we've already done. So there's your first one. 1, 2, 3. We've got 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means 2 more in the corner to make 7. Oh dear, what's happened there? Sorry, I've got knotted. Oh, hang on. Uh-oh. 1, let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's right. So just got to make sure you've got that there. And then it's 2 in a corner, 1, 2. So there's a real mini square. Just check that there's 7 stitch in every row. So we don't chain 2 now to make a corner because we chain 1 and then the other is a slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So let's just find those chains it's got worked into. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go into the front of it and make sure I go sort of into the back of the bump as well, just so it's nice and solid. Then pull through, pull through. There you've got a mini square. So again, we do the same. We chain 2 to build up the side. We want 2 in a corner, so that counts, that chain counts as 1. So then we do another double crochet backwards into that corner, and that's a bit weird. You're sort of working back on yourself at when you first do the next row. We've now got to work across the top. Now remember, the first stitch is a funny little gammy hole because of what we've done here. The second stitch is a sort of V that should have been closed but isn't, but that's just because of this business here that's made it like that. So wrap the wool around, go into that hole, that's your first stitch, wrap the wool around and go into that non-closed V. It's a bit tricky to get into. There we go, wrap the wool around, pull through 2, wrap the wool around, pull through 2. Now you can work across all the other stitches. And now there was 7 stitches on the row beneath the one I'm doing now. So this means there needs to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on this row. So when you're getting to the end and you're thinking, hang on, am I at a corner yet? Because sometimes it's a bit confusing. Just count them. There's your first one, which was the chain. That's difficult to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2 in the corner will make 11. So you know you're at a corner when you've done 9 stitches. Right, so again, two chains to make a corner, go back in, wrap your wool around, go into the corner, to finish off the corner on that side, wrap the wool around, go into a corner, and then you're working across all the other stitches. So I'll see you back at the other corner. Okay, so I think I'm at a corner, but I'll just check by counting how many stitches I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 more will make 11, so they must be corner stitches. Right into the corner. 1, right into the corner. 2, chain 2. Do another corner. Do the rest of the corner, sorry. 1, 2, and then you're starting again. Make sure, it's difficult because sometimes this can come right over and you miss that first stitch, but make sure you've got it pulled over and that you can see that that first stitch is just, well, it's almost on top of the post, but it's slightly to the right of the post. It's not way over. So now you need to work across so that you've got 11 double crochet stitches along there. Chain 2 again, do 2 more in the corner, make sure you've got 11 across, and I'll meet you back here. Okay. Okay, so I've worked all the way around and we're back again with, again, just a chain 1 and then a slip stitch into the third chain that you started with. So the sun's setting, it looks not affecting my light. The third chain is 1, 2 and then 3. So you can either just push it through the middle and then catch the back bump as well. Grab the yarn, pull it through, pull it through. Right, so now we're doing exactly the same. We've got a corner. Again, we're starting with a chain of 3 to make your first stitch. You're doing your second stitch back into that corner. And then you're working along the top. And don't forget, the first stitch is this funny little hole. Looks quite weird, this. Hang on. It's this funny little hole. And then the second one is this one. But before it was a broken one, but I think that's okay. So we're working into that funny hole for your first stitch. Oh, I've come to a knot in the wall, that's annoying. There's your second one. Just ignore this stupid knot that shouldn't have been there. And then we're working all along. Now I'm just, what can happen when you're doing crochet and can be very confusing, if you're sort of pulling your work over like this, you kind of think that that's the next stitch to go in. So you end up with too many stitches because you're thinking, oh, that's the next stitch. But when you just look at that stitch properly, you can see you've actually worked into that one. That's got a stitch on it already. So you don't work. So just check that that's got a stitch on it, but you pulled the work over so it looked like it needed another one in it. So just double check that you're not doing that you're going into the very next stitch. It's the hardest thing when you start crocheting, is working out where your stitches have got to go. There's your next stitch, but if I'd pulled this over, it looked like it's there. So but if you push it, you can see that that one's finished with. We've done that stitch. So that's the thing you've just got to watch. Can you see? I'm going into this one now. That's the one thing you've got to watch. Right, so I'm going to work all along, 2 in the corner, chain 2, 2 in the corner, work across. And then I'm going to check that I've got 15 stitches going across each one. Okay, so I've checked, I've got 15 stitches in each corner. Now you could just keep going on and on and on and on, but that gets kind of really boring and you end up having to do long runs of hundreds of stitches. It's kind of easier just to do squares that are done very quickly in lots of different colours, or 3 colours, and then join them all together. So let me just show you how I'd finish this. And you could do smaller squares. You could just do 1, 2, 3 rows to make a smaller square, or you could do a larger one like this. So to finish off, because I'm going to end, just like before, we want to create a corner. So have I chained one already? I've already chained one. Yeah, sorry. No, I haven't chained one. Chain 1, slip stitch into the 3rd chain. Again, it's a bit tricky finding that. There's a little one there. Slip stitch into that 3rd chain. Pull through. But now, you need to get your scissors. Cut yourself a long tail. And I tend to just pull through the yarn through that stitch. Pull tight. Now you want to hide. Pulled a bit too tight there actually, it's making my corner go a bit gammy. So now you want to hide that, but you don't want it to, if you just cut it there it could easily unravel, so you need to hide your tails, and there's various ways of doing this, but this is the easiest way for now, is to get a yarn needle, which I think I forgot to tell you about, and just kind of weave it through the back like that, and then sort of weave it the other way through, just through the actual wool. And then you see, if you cut it now very, very close, it doesn't show and it doesn't unravel. Same with the one in the middle. You need to thread it through. Then I'll just continue to thread this through here. Pull it through, don't pull it too tight. Cut that very close. And then you've got your square. They'll kind of be a bit curly at the edges. I tend to put a little tiny bit of steam or a very slightly warm iron on them just to make them nice and flat. But if you're using acrylic wool, you've got to be really careful because that can melt the wool and it goes all nasty. So just a little bit of water you can spritz on it and just stretch it out a bit so that all your squares are equal, so that you can then join them together. We can talk about that in another lesson. Okay, that's your solid granny square.